Bonjour! Catherine here, hysterical yogi, and today I want to talk about nose breathing versus mouth breathing. When I was, again, I tell a lot of my story about when I was a burning out press attaché, working in tourism, traveling a lot. One of the things I did at my desk a lot was sigh, and that can be a sign of breathlessness. We often think when we're really stressed that mouth breathing will help us. We don't even really notice we're doing it. We're thinking of moments like running where you might open your mouth for more oxygen, although actually it's better you nose breathe when you run as well, but that's for another time. When we mouth breathe, we're really using all these upper body muscles here. So from your neck, I don't need to name them, sternocleidomastoids, scalenes, all these different ones, but our neck muscles, our upper shoulders, our pecs in the front, these really are the muscles that help us inhale. They're also the muscles that get really tired when we do this all day. So again, if you imagine me, any stressed person at their computer, which is pretty much the whole world, you add a little bit of anxiety, you add a little bit of muscle tension, and you're gonna have a very locked up upper body. The other issue with mouth breathing, and this is both during the day and the night, is that it's dehydrating. When your muscles get dehydrated, that's essentially when we have pain. When we're walking around saying like, my neck hurts, my shoulder hurts, I had an injury, there is an injury aspect to things because I had a rotator cuff injury in my shoulder. So there was an actual injury that then created actual mechanical problems. I did have shortened muscles that were giving other breathing problems to me. But pain and soreness primarily comes from dehydration in our muscles and the inflammation that they're in because they don't have water. So the more water we can put in our bodies and the more we can try and stay hydrated through, for example, using nose breathing versus mouth breathing, it's better for us. I am trying to illustrate that I was in the middle of a perfect storm of that most of us are, which is why I share this, which is typing, dehydration, not realizing that you're mouth breathing because you're stressed. And then we're pretty dehydrated on a regular basis anyway because most of us don't take in enough water and we take in a lot of dehydrating things like caffeine. So you wouldn't think of those chains of connections making it hard to breathe, but it does end up adding that way. Mouth breathing is connected to upper chest breathing. Fantastic if I need to run and catch the subway, not really useful if I'm sitting at my desk trying to stay calm. Mouth breathing will also bring up our heart rate, which is again why we tend to go to it in an athletic, sprinty kind of a situation. That's not really good when you're sitting at your desk to have an elevated heart rate from mouth breathing. So again, that was something that I was completely unconsciously experiencing that was elevating my stress level. And I wasn't breathing. For example, you'll notice sometimes I tense up my right shoulder. This is the shoulder that was injured. So as I start to just have increased sort of tension energy, you'll notice it'll float up and I have to bring my attention back to it to take it down. As I've discussed a lot about our sympathetic versus parasympathetic nervous system, mouth breathing engages the sympathetic nervous system. Once again, fantastic if I really need to outrun a predator very quickly. These are all the things I want to have access to quite quickly, but not helpful in our daily life. So if you haven't noticed a theme, in our daily life, we get really agitated, aroused, in a primal, very instinctual, reactive state. This is the language everyone's been trying to explain to us for years, but I don't think it can be emphasized enough, because the more that we can, through mindfulness and awareness practices, become aware of how we feel, check in with ourselves, and then take an action in order to change that, and try and control our energies as opposed to be victims of them, which I was for many years, and I believe many of us are. And I believe that we are lauded by the pace of working really fast in this world and taking on supporting people in our family. Like the more people you take on emotionally supporting, the better you are. And so my point is that those sort of things that we all do for good and bad reasons put us constantly in a state of one of these higher arousal states, fight, flight, freeze, that I'm always talking about. And so if we just have an awareness that that is where we might be prone, both as individuals and as society, and again, through all these lovely mindfulness practices, we might be able to compassionately catch ourselves. Not catch ourselves like we're doing something wrong, But be like, woo, you're mouth breathing. You're getting really agitated there. Okay, let me do something to pause and check in. So we're going to go back to those neural pathways that I'm always talking about. And that's, again, where a regular practice of whatever, you could do a physical practice, but the point being is that a somatic, therefore a bodily engaged movement practice, of which breath work is one, those move old habits, an old neural pathway. It's like, a habit is just that in your brain, right? So we're changing that. But the steps are awareness, check in, and then regular practices that will help you alter that. Because we cannot simply, someone wants to play. The cat just came in. We cannot simply, be like, oh, I'm doing mouth breathing, I will stop. No, we have to carve out that groove through regular practice. And then when you have a moment of like, ooh, I'm mouth breathing. Wow, my chest felt really tight. Oh gosh, this is why I've been feeling tired writing these emails for the past hour. Let me go take a little pause outside and reset my breathing with an exercise. That's the intention of teaching you these exercises, that you understand the reason behind them and the reason for the regularity. To be really clear, regularity is about frequency and just that. So doing 30 minutes twice a week won't help you as much as doing 5 minutes 4 times a week, or even 5. So just keep that in mind. Don't be too hard on yourself and be like, I really must engage in this. But at the same time, take it so seriously that you can engage yourself. The entire practice of yoga is about balancing and uniting our scattered energies. That is the basis of my title, The Hysterical Yogi. It's about split and about union. So let's try and bring everything back together. And now I'll teach you a little bit of nose breathing to get out of our mouth breathing.